What is up, guys? Wasted on my memes here. Gonna do a slightly longer build overview of the Blood Magic crit cap Blood Mage. So first things first, just want to clarify that I'm probably not the best tutorial or guide producer. I don't want to get called out for giving bad information. So if I give some bad information, please forgive me. Please inform me of what I said that was incorrect. Also want to say that I really appreciate all the comments and all the feedback on the videos. It's awesome. I hope you guys are enjoying your versions of the build if you're messing around with it or if you just like the concept. Either way, thanks for engaging with the video. It's cool. I haven't made videos in a long time, and that part's been really nice. So that stuff out of the way real quick. I'm just going to talk about the new setup of the build, the way that I've been playing it. Go over a little bit of the upsides and downsides stuff, and then go through specifically in depth all the skills, all the gear, the tree, and I'll play some footage at some point in the video. I don't know when I'll play footage, but of the new setup. I haven't gotten to play a ton. I did get leveled up one level, so the build survivability is a little better. You definitely still have to be careful with certain map mods, and you have to be strategic about what layouts you're playing, what map mods in. I have some full clear footage of a couple less optimal layouts to sort of show the strategy there, and stuff like that. But yeah, PoE 2 in mapping, in my opinion, is in a pretty weird place. I would really prefer to be able to just play the layouts I want and the content I want, like PoE 1. I hope that they head that direction with the design. Obviously, if they're going to force people to play Mires and Auguries and to get to the maps that they want, I think that the frustration will hopefully mount pretty quickly, and maybe we can get them away from that design philosophy. Anyway, jumping straight in, we have switched off Flame Blast. We are going Lightning Warp. And the reason for this is for two reasons. One, Lightning Warp gives you way more survivability and sustain in maps because you're appearing on top of your life remnants and now our Grim Feast remnants as well, which is giving us a ton of sustain. Also, the skill's a lot less buggy. Flame Blast is pretty buggy. I've been noticing that as I switched skills. Flame Blast doesn't really interact with terrain very well. The targeting of Flame Blast, whether the game can tell you're mousing over a solar orb or not, seems kind of jank. It seems like if there's enemies around the solar orb, the Flame Blast will sort of cast on yourself. There are a lot of interesting problems with the skill that I just don't have to deal with when I play Lightning Warp. So those are basically the reasons we switched. So we have here level 30 Lightning Warp, that's 20, and then one from Lightning Mastery and 9 from our gear. This is not necessary. You'd be fine with level 27 or even a level 26. More damage is pretty huge for the build, though, because damage is not only its damage, it's also our defense, our sustain, and our smoothness of map clear. So when you're scaling the damage, you're really you're looking for crit multi and gem levels, and getting this as high level as possible is really good for quality of life. Supports, real quick, we've got Lightning Mastery, Elemental Focus. We're not worried about inflicting shocks with this. We have Shock from another setup. Magnified Effect for good clear. Inspiration, this is enormous. Being able to put this in is enormous. It means that the cost of the skill is low enough that you're not really having an issue leeching to full off, even when you're not getting good density on your spell cast, because a lot of the maps, I'm sure you guys know this, a lot of the maps have like kind of bad density for huge portions, and you're fighting like a dozen white mobs and like one blue mob that are kind of spread out, and being able to only hit like 3 white monsters and heal to full is amazing. And when you're spending less on the skill, that's easier to do. So inspiration on this, it has been really nice. Rising Tempest, this is you're always going to have 24% because your cast on crit comet is counting as a cold spell. And then if you want to drop, you can see how much the tooltip DPS goes up when you cast a lightning, fire, and ice spell. It's huge for bosses. You're going to get a ton of damage if you just drop. I have a level 2 flame wall here. You could also, this is just for the mana cost. to keep the mana cost low. You could also use a higher level flame wall for bosses to get the ignite damage for the ball lightning projectiles and stuff, but it's not necessary. Yeah, okay, so that's Lightning Warp is our main skill. So the mapping, how we set up for mapping is we have a single ball lightning here. This is minimum level, so level 11. This is lowest it can go. Ball lightning, you know, +9 from global modifiers, but just think of this as being the lowest level you can get it. On our right click, and it has deceleration and cast speed increase. So the reason we want deceleration is we want this projectile as close to our character as possible so we can jump immediately on top of it. As soon as we cast one Lightning Warp, even if we just hit a few monsters, our cast on crit ball lightning is going to go off, and those projectiles are accelerated so we can start jumping to them to move through the map. You're not going to be able to clear entire maps with like one chain, just because of low enemy density and sort of maze-like layouts that we're dealing with in PoE2. It'd be really fun. On Sand Spit, you get to take quite a ride on just one ball lightning blast. Our other cast on crit setup down here is our Comet. You know, as many levels as you can get. Impetus for the bosses. I thought maybe energy retention might actually get us more procs than Impetus on bosses, but I'm not like a math wizard, but I was thinking about how it's possible if we're already gaining enough energy that the energy refund would be more valuable than the increased energy gain, but I haven't tested that out. Impetus is good. Consider casting big damage boost, spell echo, double damage, and concentrated effect. Big damage. You just want as much damage on this as possible. You're just trying to freeze the boss instantly, so you ignore their resists and blow them up. Works good. Also, just like insta kills any rares. Sometimes you won't even be looking at a rare in a map. You'll just lightning warp and comets will fall on them, and a bunch of loot will pop up. You won't even notice there's a rare on the screen. Frostwall, this is for our boss setup. You drop this, your flame wall, and your curse conductivity for dropping the lightning res right on top of the boss, and then you basically just spam lightning warp until they cease to exist. Yeah, so that's everything. I guess I can go over the Frostwall, link, Spell Cascade, Icicle, Glaciation, Ingenuity. You could easily swap this for Cold Exposure or something if you wanted. And if I had a 6th link on my cast on crit ball lightning, I would definitely put lightning exposure in there. For now, I'm just using overcharge because it feels like it's more damage. But lightning exposure would definitely be a good 6th link here. All right, so those are the skills. Power, we don't really ever use Power Siphon, it's just on the wand. Okay, now gear. I tallied everything up, and all this gear costs around like 20 div. I'll do that tally again, but we'll start with the wand. The prefixes are kind of meh. In fact, they're kind of bad. I bought this wand with 2 open prefixes. It had just the gain damage as extra fire, and then the suffixes, which are good, the +4 all spell skills, the crit hit chance, and the crit hit multi. The 2 most important affixes on the wand are the +4 to all spell skills and the critical hit chance for spells. You definitely want 4 and above 90 for those. And getting a wand that's like that on trade is really not that expensive. It's only like 3 or 4 divines. If you want one with better prefixes, you'll start getting up into the 8 and 10 divine range. But yeah, I mean, you're going to be able to clear all the content in the game with just +4 all spell skills and 90% crit hit chance for spells. Even the 30 crit multi is not even that big of a deal. Cast speed would be very good on this as well. But yeah, wand, I paid 8 for divines for this, so I'm going to say 8 divines. But you could probably get a comparable wand for 4 or 3 or 4. Seed of the Cataclysm. So this is a recent addition. I caught this ring cost 3 exalts. I was just testing it. It's about like a cheap one. This is huge if you can fit it in. The increased mana cost of skills doesn't really hurt us that much with our Inspiration, Lightning Warp, and the low level on our sort of more utility sustain skills. And 50 crit multi is an enormous damage boost. The implicit is obviously wasted. A good, if this had a good corruption or a better critical hit chance roll, I mean, this might be the next thing that I upgrade, honestly. I might try and buy one of these for like a couple div that has like better crit hit chance rolls and a good implicit, is I think that would be huge. Yeah, definitely like super good for a bargain if you can get your resistance capped and you don't mind losing out on a bit of life. This is another big slot for life, so pluses and minuses. Definitely more of a glass cannon move, but I like damage. You know how it is. So 3 exalts for that. Azuri's Cutie are 3 divines right now for one that has a good critical hit chance roll. This is a bad corrupt and a bad jewel socketed in it. It's just the way it is. I haven't. It's not on my list to buy a new one really. Better corrupt would be like 2 sockets, damage penetrates, lightning res. You should definitely be having percent max life jewels in here, stuff like that. But yeah, these are necessary, mandatory. You have to have them. A regular pair that's just like 20% crit hit chances, 1 div. They're fun. Definitely recommend. It's not that not that expensive. Helmet. This helmet was 1 divine. It's just filling out reses, life, energy shield, some crit hit chance. Not too much to say about this. People don't really want helmets that don't have mana, helmets that don't have rarity, so this was super cheap. You could probably find one that fits the needs of your build for, I'd say, a divine. Chest place. This chest place was 30 exalts. If you look at it, you'll realize why. I really should upgrade this. I haven't looked at how expensive an upgrade would be, but I imagine I'd probably be shilling out, because if I actually wanted good suffixes, really what I want on this is chaos res. If I could get a big chunk of chaos res and life and the spirit, that would be really, really good for the build. Just need a little bit more chaos res for it to feel, we're at 15. It'd be really nice for this number to be 30 or even 50. 50 would be huge. It's just, I haven't been spending money or really looking for armor pieces. But the key thing here is you want to be able to get 80 spirit off this chest. 80, your total spirit you're looking for in the build is 210. Getting 80 off the chest is really nice. But yeah, this was 30 exalts. I'm sure you could find something like this that probably had even better prefixes and suffixes for like 2 to 4 divines. But for the purpose of my budget, it's 30x. Belts, total garbage, 5 exalts. No one, okay res rolls, life regen, and life. Just use this to cap your resistances and get life. Not too much to talk about here. Best in slot would be Ingenuity. Drop Seed of the Cataclysm, get 2 really good rare rings, and then we'd be, that's how you end up getting capped chaos res and like 3600 life is Ingenuity and 2 really GG rings. But this belt was like 1x or something. Maybe it was 3 exalts. Amulet, 3 divines for this amulet, 36 spirit, 3 to all. Spell skills, cast speed, life regen. It's a good amulet overall. The armor's a little bit of a whatever, but it's good. The anoint costs 4.5 divines because heartbreaking does need an isolation, which are 4 divines a pop. So the amulet in total 7 divines. This is the best anoint I found. I'm sure there might be something else good out there, but if you want a budget anointment, there are plenty of good options. You could get AoE, any crit chance thing. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of other options to get. I was actually thinking about maybe getting Throat Seeker at some point. With a few more levels, if I get this character to like level 96, I might take Throat Seeker and crit cap through that 20% reduced. So that's an absolutely enormous amount of damage. 90 crit multi from these 3 points. It's pretty nuts. But yeah, that's the amulet. Ring. This ring was 1 divine. It's just, again, life, cast speed, filling up our reses. The prefixes are kind of whatever. They're definitely, this ring could be better. 21 cold resist isn't great. The life roll is actually pretty low. I just catalysted it. So yeah, 1 divine for this ring. Obviously, the more juiced your rings are, the better your character's going to feel. Rings are really strong PoE 2. These boots are absolute garbage booty trash. Maximum mana is completely useless. Low fire res. The 5.2 life regen is totally negligible. Move speed, life, and res. I mean, you could do better than these boots in 1,000 ways. Chaos res would be huge. More energy shield would be really nice. These are really bad. I want to say I probably did pay a divine for these at some point. I don't know. We'll just call them 1 divine. But yeah, the boots could be way better. The focus, the big thing on the focus is +2 level of all spell skills and the spell critical hit chance. The rest of this, prefixes are all trash on this. you would want spell damage, cold damage, or lightning damage. Those would be the big ones. Fire damage is not really super useful. Fire resist does help with the build though. This was 1 divine. So if you tally everything up, we're gonna say 8 divines, 3 divines, 1 divine, 7 divines. Ignore the rings, belt, and chest. They add up to not even 1 divine. So yeah, we're at about 19 div and then change. 19 div and like 45 exalts. 20 div and like 45 exalts for all the gear on the character. All right, and so we'll go into the pastor tree. So this passive tree, there isn't a lot of wiggle room here. Do not skip these points. If the build's feeling really bad and you're dying and you're not sustaining, it's because you're skipping these points. Like, it's likely why. Yeah, these are super important. This is an enormous amount of recovery that should not be skipped. Otherwise, I think that this is probably the most efficient way to use the tree. If anybody has, a better version, let me know. But yeah, this is kind of getting everything you need, and really setting up 2 clusters of 3 notables is really nice, because these jewels are huge for our damage. So I have 2 of these that have double crit multi, critical damage bonus and critical spell damage bonus. I actually farmed both of these from Trial of the Secamos. I don't think you can search them really on trade yet, so this might be part of the build that's a little bit hard to get. It's not, these are not necessary. They're giving me a lot of crit multi, but before I have these jewels in, I'm still evaporating bosses. This is just taking it kind of to the next level of evaporation. Sometimes I don't even see their health bar appear with this much. Each one of these is giving me about 45 crit multi. And some other reasonable stats as well. I guess this has spell damage, and this one has cold damage. But yeah, 2 definitely not cluster jewels placed in these 2 places is huge. Whatever good mods you can get on these, you can just kind of scroll through on trade, search for ones that cost 10 exalts or 20 exalts or whatever, and you'll probably find some good ones. And putting those in there is huge. Otherwise, we have 3 grand spectrums at 2 divines each, so that's another 6 div. These are pretty non-negotiable because you can see that one of them is giving us 250 life. It's diminishing returns after you take 1 out. Obviously, I think that they're responsible for about 350 life total, but that's still a pretty big deal when you're using your life to cast spells. So the 3 grand spectrums, that's a 6 divine add. And then I do have 1 rare jewel. This one I got kind of lucky with. Again, I crafted this, if you will. It dropped with cold damage and critical damage bonus, and I slammed the rest and corrupted it. The jewels that have 2 critical damage bonus modifiers on them are not expensive. They're 2 or 3 divines, so you could buy a handful of them and try and slam or corrupt some. Highly recommend it. Jewels are really, really strong in this game. This 1 jewel is definitely worth 3 points on the tree to me. I think that, kind of, obviously there's only 1 rare jewel in the build right now, but this is kind of like a problem, just an extra damage, or if you have a crit chance, if you need crit chance, you could get a double crit chance jewel and so on and so forth. All right, so that's the tree. I guess I could just say that these cost 1 divine. Honestly, I don't know what they would cost, but I don't think it would be more than 1 divine. And then the grand spectrum, so that's another 8 div. So we're getting close to 30 div for the entire budget of the build, basically. And then we have obviously some 6 links, which are another 6. So we're at 35 divines for everything. We could just round up, say 35 div. So yeah, that's basically the entire character. I'll play some footage of it going through things. I want to just thank you guys for watching. I hope that this answers some of your questions. If there's anything that I got incorrect or things that I could be doing better, please let me know. If you still have further questions or want to talk about the build or whatever, obviously I'm always going to respond to comments. Guess I could just show my I'm at 586 tooltip crit multi right now, and this is absolutely deleting everything in the game. Remember, this tooltip is slightly misleading because Gore Spike is not included in it. I don't know if Gore Spike is bugged or not. It should be giving us about 80% crit multi based on the life total that I have right now. It's hard to test because I'd have to take out Sunder the Flesh to unspec it, so my damage is all wonky without max crit chance. But yeah, I mean, if it's just not showing in the tooltip, I guess that's one issue, but I kind of feel like maybe this node just isn't working at all. I don't know. Maybe if somebody knows, just let me know. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much everything. Obviously gonna play. I'll probably have put some footage over the video. I just don't feel particularly like talking and playing. Hope you all understand. That's kind of why I'm not streaming right now. I'm just kind of a little bit under the weather. But I hope y'all are having a good time with PoE2 Early Access, and thank you so much for watching.